I think going to the movies should be a really special experience. You should be pulled into the world that the director is creating.
Você provavelmente conhece esses filmes. Filmes que foram grandes fenômenos e mexeram com todos nós de certa forma.
Tom Cruise, you did it again.
That was phenomenal. It felt like a part of history.
Yes!
Absolutely spectacular.
Mas você nunca se perguntou quem foi que te proporcionou essas experiências cinematográficas únicas?
Mark, initial thoughts of this movie, Top Gun.
Oh my God.
That's been my journey as a filmmaker. In every film, I've learned something new and tried to apply that to the next one. So I guess that's my answer.
Joseph Kosinski é um diretor conhecido por suas grandes obras que ganharam um espaço significativo na cultura pop. Mas a sua história não começa no cinema. Ele diria que
My path has definitely been kind of a different one.
E realmente, antes de se tornar um grande diretor, Kosinski cursou engenharia aeroespacial na Universidade de Stanford, na Califórnia,
I was studying aerospace engineering.
e arquitetura em seguida na Universidade Columbia, em Nova York.
Did go to Columbia Architecture School.
Mas não pense que isso nunca teve nenhuma influência em sua jornada no cinema, já que foi
when all these digital tools were coming in to the curriculum. So I learned, 3D, I learned digital video, editing, and after getting out of architecture school, I realized, I could essentially had the tools to make my own films. So that's what I did. I started making little short films, and luckily one of them got noticed and put in a little film festival, and so that was the beginning.
E após unir todo esse conhecimento, Kosinski começava a ver o novo caminho que era apresentado para ele. Sempre teve uma forte inclinação para o design visual e espacial, e levou isso para os seus primeiros filmes. Antes de chegar a Hollywood, Kosinski fundou um estúdio de design digital,
Called Katie Lab.
onde dirigiu comerciais altamente estilizados para grandes marcas,
We had one project and we said, we're interested in exploring the blurred boundaries between architecture, film, and graphics.
marcas como Nike, grandes jogos como Halo, Destiny, Gears of War, e curtas para marcas como Sony.
What I learned in that year of, that first year in commercials is, how important it is to be able to show someone what you're talking about, especially when you're working in something visual like films and commercials.
Além disso, sempre teve uma paixão pela música.
I was introduced to music at a very young age. My mother's a pianist. My grandfather was a trumpet player in the 1940s, so music's always been a big part of my life.
Com 3 anos, ele já fazia algumas brincadeiras no piano,
I was studying jazz.
e aos 10 foi para o saxofone. Esse conhecimento foi fundamental para que pudesse trabalhar ao lado de compositores como Hans Zimmer e Lady Gaga na produção da trilha sonora de Top Gun Maverick. E também na produção da trilha de Tron, O Legado, ao lado da dupla francesa Daft Punk. Era o momento de mostrar-se como um artista autoral, sendo capaz de conectar elementos distintos de maneira tão intrínseca ao ponto de parecerem óbvios. Engenharia, arquitetura, design e histórias. Ali, mais um artista ganhava espaço.
You can talk about all day, and that's important, but if you can show them something, they say a picture's worth 1,000 words. So that was kind of my way.
So you like visual effects?
I like great stories, but my background in design, I think, lent myself to doing science fiction films because there is a world that has to be created. And I always loved films as a kid that were, kind of transported me to another place. And science fiction, I think, can not only stimulate the eye, but the mind. So that's why I was kind of drawn to those films.
Kosinski sabe escolher boas histórias. mas o seu maior forte está na criação de narrativas visuais, em contar histórias com elementos além das falas. Até porque, como ele mesmo já nos disse,
If you can show them something, they say a picture's worth 1,000 words.
e por causa disso, era hora de dar o próximo passo. Finalmente, Kosinski recebeu sua primeira oportunidade para dirigir um filme, após os comerciais que havia produzido chamarem a atenção de produtores de Hollywood.
And then I had a meeting with the producer of Tron Legacy, Sean Bailey, and we had a meeting and sat down and I kind of talked about my vision was for what the movie could be.
E ali foi o momento em que mostrou onde e como usaria todo o seu conhecimento prévio em arquitetura e design.
You know, I used kind of one of my commercial tricks, which I said, rather than talk about Tron Legacy, what I'd really love to do is kind of show you what I'm thinking.
I mean, I'm glad I went to architecture school rather than film school. I think it was a really interesting training ground for making films, especially a film like this where there is a whole world that has to be created from scratch and there's so much technology involved in the creation of it. My architectural background actually was a great kind of training for a job like this.
Joseph conseguiu a confiança dos produtores para financiar um pequeno teaser.
So I did a 2-minute short teaser that kind of showed the world and had a little bit of story, some of the main, characters that might be in the film. And we made that kind of in secret.
Com apenas imagens matematicamente pensadas e arquitetadas, Kosinski pôde trazer uma visão única para a reimaginação de um universo anteriormente apresentado.
And then in 2008, we decided, the studio let me show it at Comic-Con. And due to the response from the audience and then the internet at large, we greenlit the movie. So that was kind of my path.
A partir dali, sua carreira nunca mais seria a mesma.
Tron Legacy scores big, generating over $43 million in American theaters during its opening weekend.
Disney's Tron Legacy promises to be one of the hottest movies of the holiday season. The sci-fi adventure features state-of-the-art special effects. It's a visually stunning movie. The special effects are incredible. Disney hopes Tron Legacy attracts kids and families.
The legacy of Tron has been given a reboot for the digital age.
Tron: O Legado trouxe de volta a ficção científica raiz. Foi um pequeno fenômeno, levando o público a um universo que havia sido deixado para trás. Mas dessa vez, ele voltava mais rico. Isso seria crucial para o próximo passo na jornada do diretor.
The real making of the filmmakers when they look to that viewfinder to tell the story.
Em seus processos para a criação de uma história, o diretor sempre gosta de evitar os blockbusters vazios. Kosinski quer que seus filmes tenham temas reais, humanos, relacionáveis, o que faz com que seus filmes sejam diferentes dos grandes lançamentos comuns de hoje em dia, os quais são grandes espetáculos visuais, mas vazios em emoções.
They tend to be a little more idea-based, a little more character-driven, and that's the kind of film I wanted to create.
E foi o que trouxe para seu próximo filme, Oblivion, em 2013. O filme é uma adaptação de uma graphic novel feita pelo próprio diretor no ano de 2005.
I developed it as an illustrated novel while I was working on Tron. I was working on Oblivion in the background, and I ended up having a kind of a beautiful pitch kit in the end to kind of show to the studios and show to Tom to kind of describe to them not only the story I wanted to tell, but the world I wanted to create.
Visualmente, o filme é um verdadeiro espetáculo. Foi filmado em locações reais, como Islândia e Estados Unidos. Kosinski e o diretor de fotografia Cláudio Miranda optaram pelo uso de projeção frontal de vídeo para as cenas, e nas locações reais usaram luz natural para evitar ao máximo o uso de CGI.
I had seen some images of Iceland, and the landscape looks like really no other place on Earth. It's a volcanic island, black sands, no trees. There's a beauty in the desolation there, and that seemed to kind of fit the aesthetic I wanted for Oblivion.
Um bom contador enxerga uma história em qualquer lugar, mas isso não era tudo, já que Kosinski gosta que suas histórias sejam mais do que apenas espetáculos visuais. Ele inclui aquilo que faz com que grandes histórias sejam de fato grandes histórias. Aquilo que fez os grandes filmes de grandes diretores serem lembrados e reverenciados na nossa memória e na cultura. Os personagens.
I came up with a story about this drone repairman in the future, one of the last people on Earth who's doing a job every day, and one day spacecraft crashes in his sector, and inside he finds a woman who he doesn't know but looks familiar to him, and her arrival kind of turns his world upside down in really exciting ways.
O que torna qualquer história mais poderosa sempre serão os personagens em jornadas de desenvolvimento, já que nós, seres humanos, sempre estamos em uma. E acompanhar alguém em sua própria jornada é sempre bom. E Kosinski entende isso, então isso é um elemento muito comum em seus filmes. Oblivion é uma grande aventura visual que nos emerge em um mundo impressionante, mas que também aborda temas como identidade e memória, humanidade, e conta isso nos inserindo em uma grande aventura ficcional, mas que ainda é humana. E foi o que levou para seu próximo filme, mas agora em uma história 100% real. Em 2017, o diretor ia para o próximo capítulo, dessa vez para se desafiar como artista. Sabemos que Kosinski gosta de grandes histórias de ficção científica, mas dessa vez ele trazia sua visão sobre um evento real.
I want y'all to breathe in this beautiful vista, because you're never going to be able to look out and see that pure beauty again.
Homens de Coragem conta a história real dos hotshots da Granite Mountain, um grupo de bombeiros florestais do Arizona que enfrentaram o trágico incêndio da Yarnell Hill no ano de 2013.
This is the deadliest wildfire now for firefighters in more than 35 years.
And we are on wildfire watch northwest of the valley, and this fire, it exploded overnight, forcing evacuations. We're talking about the Yarnell Hill fire.
You know, this fire was very radical in its behavior. The fields were very dry, the relative humidity was low, the wind was coming out of the south. It's turned around on us because of monsoon action this afternoon.
Comovido pela história que havia sido relatada em um artigo escrito por Sean Flynn, Kosinski quis trazer essa história para as grandes telas, com o devido respeito, mas ainda mantendo presentes seus temas.
I was very interested in showing that you don't need to carry a gun to be a hero, and I just found that to be a refreshing kind of angle on what a hero is, given all the other kind of movies that are being made these days.
Com a onda dos filmes de heróis crescendo exponencialmente, sendo bons filmes, mas que em sua maioria mostram personagens bobos e inconsequentes, que tratam tudo como brincadeira e nada com peso, sendo chamados de heróis, e considerando também que o público para os mesmos era em sua maioria infantil, Kosinski achava que o conceito que os heróis representavam estava sendo mal interpretado.
It felt really grounded and real, and felt important for, you know, being a father now, you know, you think about movies your kids are seeing, this felt like a story that would be something I'd like them to see someday.
Joseph contou essa história com a maior sensibilidade possível, e ainda trazendo temas como redenção, sacrifício, legado e irmandade. Um filme comovente, contado de maneira respeitosa, imersivo e que traz grandes reflexões para todos.
There's so many examples everywhere of people pushing each other down and trying to get ahead of one another, and I feel like this is really a story about a community of people who all tried to lift each other up and try and help each other.
Com todo o background de histórias imersivas, personagens humanos, autenticidade no lugar de efeitos e CGI, Kosinski agora estava preparado para contar a história que mudaria sua carreira para sempre.
Maverick.
How could you possibly come up with a story that would make a sequel to Top Gun make sense?
Top Gun Maverick blew away the competition over the weekend, becoming the top-grossing Memorial Day picture in history.
I knew it had to be an emotional reason.
30 plus years of service.
Your instructor is one of the finest pilots this program has ever produced.
So I went in with 4 points that I wanted to pitch him on.
Call came in with impeccable timing. You've been called back to Top Gun.
So the first thing I said was, this is the story of Maverick having to reconcile his broken relationship with the son of Goose.
Why did you stand in my way?
You weren't ready.
And at the beginning of the movie, when we find Maverick, He's a test pilot, pushing the envelope of both human and machine to its absolute limits. He's still Maverick.
Just a little push.
And I said, obviously we're going to shoot it. All your footage we're going to shoot for real. You're always going to be in a jet for real in this film. We're not going to do blue screen or a buck like they did in the first movie.
Good morning, aviators. This is your captain speaking.
And we're not going to call it Top Gun 2. We're going to call it Top Gun Maverick.
Maverick.
Maverick. And he was like, he looked at me and looked at Jerry and he pulled his phone out and he called Paramount and he said, we're making a sequel to Top Gun.
The 36-year wait is over. The long-awaited sequel to Top Gun is now out in theaters.
Back now with those sky-high expectations for Tom Cruise and Top Gun Maverick.
Pre-sale numbers on Fandango have Top Gun Maverick poised to be Cruise's first film with a $100 million opening weekend.
There's so much emotion in this movie.
It's a religious experience.
It is.
Being in that theater, start to finish.
This film was absolutely spectacular. It had the high octane on the edge of your seat.
$1 billion at the box office.
Like we're in the cockpit, in the mix. Everything moving around us with the top sound, everything, like we're there.
Top Gun Maverick foi o grande fenômeno de 2022. O filme que todos gostaram, sem agendas, sem críticas sociais, apenas o bom e velho blockbuster, com emoção, personagens, autenticidade e imersão. A obra-prima de Joseph Kosinski.
Sorry I'm late, Mr. Amnesty.
I'm gonna retire the day you call me Steve.
Infelizmente, nem tudo são flores.
Hello again.
Ainda em 2022, após o sucesso estrondoso de Top Gun Maverick, Kosinski ainda tinha mais um projeto para apresentar ao mundo, dessa vez sendo lançado no maior serviço de streaming do mercado. Spiderhead é uma ficção científica baseada no conto de George Saunders e conta a história de uma instalação de pesquisa avançada do mesmo nome.
Well, that all starts with George Saunders' writing. You know, his short story, Escape from Spiderhead, was the genesis for this whole thing and has all those elements to it. The question is, could it be adaptable?
Lá, presos de bom comportamento têm a chance de participar voluntariamente de uma experiência com drogas que afetam suas emoções, percepções e comportamentos.
So Joe, in the film, Chris Hemsworth is kind of playing with the emotions of the imprisoned, but you're kind of playing with the emotions of everybody just watching this film.
Come on, guys, words.
Okay, yeah, she's starting to look pretty good. Yeah, she's looking really, really good.
Heather?
O filme aborda diversas reflexões sobre livre-arbítrio, moralidade científica e até mesmo culpa e redenção.
I agree. I don't think it's science fiction. I think everything in this film could be happening today.
O visual é, como sempre, um ponto forte do filme, indo além de planos bonitos. Tendo como principal referência os filmes de Stanley Kubrick, as locações do filme são criadas a partir da arquitetura brutalista, onde o minimalismo traduz a ideia central de Spiderhead, um lugar que parece moderno e limpo, mas que oculta profunda violência emocional e moral. Apesar de seus temas complexos, o roteiro os explora de maneira muito rasa, fazendo com que o filme não fosse tão bem recebido quanto os outros. Elogiado pelo visual, mas deixando a desejar em enredo. Mas Kosinski nunca deixou de aprender, e isso o motivaria para seu próximo grande filme.
Ambition, to me, is trying to challenge yourself or do something that hasn't been done before. You can talk about speed, but we wanted to make audiences feel it.
Joseph Kosinski está de volta em 2025, com aquela que será a melhor experiência cinematográfica do ano. Mas antes, vamos voltar um pouco.
I always wanted to make a racing film, and the thing about racing movies is it can't be about racing. It has to have some amazing story underneath.
Brad Pitt has stirred the Silverstone paddock as the shooting of his new Formula One movie began. Top Gun Maverick director Joseph Kosinski has been working closely with the 7-time world champ Lewis Hamilton in a Mercedes.
Today, to be honest, I feel like a kid. My heart was racing. The F1 movie is as authentic a racing movie has ever been.
Brad, congratulations, your first time out on track in front of a crowd. This is the next big story for Formula One. What can you tell us roughly about the movie so far?
F1 the movie follows the character of Sonny Hayes, a down and out ex-F1 driver who's been given the opportunity to return to the sport to help a back-of-the-grid fictional team by the name of Apex win their first race.
My team is in last place. My number 2 is a rookie. And if we don't turn it around, I lose the team.
We all lose our jobs if you can't pull off a miracle.
Some people look at Sonny Hayes, they see a guy who lives in a van, a gambling junkie who missed his shot. But I see a guy who makes teams better. I see experience, I see know-how. My rook is a phenomenal talent, phenomenal. But he's young. You plus him, boom, I got a team.
It's really a redemption story for Sonny Hayes, redemption. And underdogs, and pulling a team together. So yeah, that's really the kind of the core of it.
What's the difference between Joshua Pierce and Sonny Hayes?
A lot of decades. You're making a mistake, thinking that I'm just gonna be some grateful kid who'll bend the knee to an old timer. I climbed a mountain to get here, bro.
Hard-won experience.
Já aprendemos que a assinatura de Kosinski é contar histórias simples com camadas em seus personagens e suas jornadas de desenvolvimento.
They're saying Sonny Hayes isn't a has-been, he's a never was.
Mas traz também inovação.
The camera technology we developed for Maverick was groundbreaking. On F1, we've pushed it even further.
What Joe's able to do with these cameras and amazing crew is capture real-time speed. It's just exhilarating.
Are able to deliver that big screen experience.
Ready, and action.
From the beginning, it was about trying to capture the experience of being inside a Formula One car. You just can't fake the speed and action of Formula One.
Did you win something? There's 20 other drivers still out on that track. Do you think any of them respect us?
We worked with Mercedes-AMG to find cavities under the radiators where we could place the camera recording equipment. These aren't movie cars, these are race cars from the start that we developed specifically for making this movie.
Em mais um ano repleto de filmes genéricos, heróis, remakes ou continuações feitas apenas para arrecadar dinheiro, Kosinski chega com um filme original, com o intuito de imergir o público no mundo de um dos esportes mais radicais e elitizados que existem.
We've had unprecedented access to the tracks.
Getting footage for this story is awesome. The energy of the crowd, all the F1 drivers, the cars, is going to help give this film that kind of grounded quality that we're looking for.
F1 traz o que há de melhor no cinema blockbuster. É a mais pura montanha-russa de emoções. Um filme que vai mexer com a sua ansiedade e batimentos cardíacos, mas que também traz emoção, bons personagens e jornadas, e que vai literalmente te colocar dentro de um carro de Fórmula 1.
We've accomplished something that hasn't been done before.
If the last thing I do is drive that car.
F1 is unlike anything we've ever filmed. It's incredible. Whether you're a fan or not, we'll show the world why it is the pinnacle of motorsports.
I will take that life.
I love nuts and bolts filmmaking. I feel like the audience can tell when something is captured in camera.
Joseph Kosinski, nome que vai te fazer ir ao cinema todas as vezes que você o ler, e que te trará certeza de que a jornada irá valer a pena, que te colocará dentro do filme.
My whole career, even though I started kind of on the digital side, was always trying to capture that feeling of being there. I'm always looking for ways to give the audience something that connects on a visceral level, give them a real emotion.
Sem dúvidas, diretor que em alguns anos será lembrado por ter proporcionado verdadeiras experiências no cinema. Experiências essas que viram memórias, e não apenas entretenimento.
I think going to the movie should be a really special experience. You should be pulled into the world that the director is creating.